Destroy
Zoom don't cut
all
it
podcast. We are Destroy All Microbots.
Episode of Destroy All Podcast General 5.
Yeah.
Lieutenant 1, Luno.
No.
Joey Bolos.
Joey Bolo.
DJ Rare Groove.
Oh, he's in the house chilling, homie.
Me, I'm
Yes,
3.
sir.
Please like, share, subscribe. You make gang clearance. We are the culture tonight. Man, what a blessing. We've been having a great summer. It just keeps
Awesome
getting
summer.
better and better and better. From the Ohio Boxing Hall of Fame to the Park, Cincinnati Music Festival, and now a legend,
Yeah.
Billboard topper, a UMC, an advocate for adult contemporary hip hop.
Word up.
Kool Kim, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise.
Woo. Yeah.
Thanks.
Welcome
Yeah.
to the show, man. Thank you for coming.
Definitely.
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah, you joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. Thank you for having me on Destroy Your Podcast. You heard we're gonna do just that today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Today is the day to ask all of those UMC questions that's been burning your soul for the last 35 years, fellas. I know you've had a lot of them over the years. I'm sure you've wondered things and said, you know, what happened with that? Well, today we get to the bottom of that. All right, let's get it, yo.
Okay. Can you walk us through the start? Like when you guys formed the group, like what drove you guys to make that kind of sound like jazz forward hip hop? What put you in that pocket?
All right, so I'm gonna sound old the way I'm gonna talk right now, but in those days, right, you had the connection to jazz, the connection to soul music we weren't but a generation removed. You know what I'm saying? So a generation away rather. So we were already acutely aware of this type of stuff. You know, so the proximity was there, right? But then there's also this component of it that, now we've got these wonderful mentors in the form of, Stetson Sonic talking all that jazz. You know what I mean? We got, De La Soul that's come before us. We've got Tribe Called Quest that's come before. We have Jungle Brothers that's come before us.
Mhm.
And of course I do everybody that has made this kind of music, of Gangstar. We've had a myriad amount of artists that have touched a wide array of musics before we come on the scene. And so, it's a hell of a thing to have a launch pad like that.
Yeah.
Now I would say that UMC's album is considerably different than any of these artists. It's a very refined version of those things that we were experiencing. You dig? Because like when you look at like the Low End Theory, for example, that was a filter heavy jazz sort of vibe. So everything was heavy filtered. So it was really, real low bass frequencies and stuff like that. Whereas if you look at like Talking All That Jazz, it's got the standing bass rhythm and it's got some stuff going on, but it's not perfected enough that you can really, it articulates it. And even when we look at Jazzmatazz, what Guru and Premier did in those days, again, it was still unrefined. Like the understanding of how to merge the sounds and engage them had not been perfected. So no slight to any of these works. These works are pioneering, amazing works. You heard? What I is really to emphasize the fact that UMCs are very blessed to have those sorts of mentors in a part of our musical lexicon. And so when we do One to Grow On and Blue Cheese and all of these other jams, it's elementary, my dear Watson. It was just like how could we miss? We had a lot of opportunity to master this, and so we did that.
Word, that's beautiful. You're correct. The album's very much so refined. Yeah, two top 10 Billboard hits. Once
Three.
Three. That's right. Three.
Blue
Once you
Cheese
reach
was
that-
number one.
Yeah.
When the Grown was number two. Uh Never Neverland, I think, made it to 7. And then of course on the second album, Time to Set It Straight was number 4.
Once you hit Olympian heights like that, is it hard to follow up?
No,
You had
it's
a lot
not
of
hard.
success.
It's not hard to follow up. It's easy to follow up. It's not the music that becomes a difficulty. You dig? And it segues to a great question that I'm curious to see if y'all ask, right? It's not hard to follow up at all. I think what we have to realize about artists and follow-ups, right? At first, the second album is always that question, like, sophomore jinx, they call it, right?
Right.
You have to realize from a man down. You got you got so this is what happens. Now we talking back in those days when a single got worked for 3 to 6 months.
Right.
You remember then, right? Like it was like they worked the record, Jack. You wasn't gonna get rid of that record for a while. You heard? So they had time to cultivate a song, develop it, develop the markets that they knew could work with that, with that record. We were on terrestrial radio was the primary means by which you were going to be heard, right? So we didn't have even satellite radio heavy at that point. We don't have internet, obviously, so things are moving using snail mail, post office. You dig? You know what I mean? So we got
the courier service.
It's like, so you gotta keep in mind, it's like that old play. Is it try to remember a time in September when life was slow and oh so mellow? That's what was going on. Life was slow and oh so mellow. So what does this have to do with one album to the next? You hear Blue Cheese, right?
Right.
6 months has passed until you see One to Grow On.
True.
Right.
One to Grow On happens, 6 months pass, and we Neverland, well, maybe 3 or 4 months past, Neverland does its thing, and now we've got to go make a new album. Now in that time, my grandmother's passed away. You know what I'm saying? I've had children. You dig? My life has changed. I've experienced the industry, right? And was traumatizing. We were the first rap group from Staten Island conventionally, you know what I mean, to have any modicum of success, let's say. And so we had the pioneering, you kicking the door, waving the first 4-4. You're also the cat that's the first to get shot if they got anything behind them.
Right.
So a lot of people don't realize that they're, you suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune becoming the first from your area, you know what I mean? And we also experienced a time where there was a transition happening from creative, intelligent, I would even go as far as saying introspective, positive, educated hip hop, right? To a space where those very things became a pariah, and that was now happy rap.
Right.
So, it's one thing to be a fan and experience it, because really what you're doing is fanning. And so you riding the wave, whatever's popping and entertaining. It's fine for you to go from wearing your cross color or your polka dot shirt or your high top fade with the yellows, whatever. It was all good for you to do that and then switch over to wearing, a core heart hoodie and a freaking pair, Jabot jeans or whatever you was wearing at that time.
Yeah.
Tim's.
Yeah.
You could make that switch and go to the concert, and when nobody gonna hold you for that, because you was in the wave of what was happening. But me, as an artist, if you have the expectation of me, or to be one thing or the other, then what we end up doing is we put our favorite artists in a box and don't allow them to grow artistically along with us.
Wow.
Very true.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a good point.
That was a good
Man,
answer.
so like if you couldn't show up with some hammer pants and slippery bottoms.
Nah,
in the
you
car
know
all
that
day.
I couldn't even fit them joints right. You know what I'm saying? I'm too short. I didn't think it's just like I'd wear a gown or something. I'd have been wearing a summer dress. I'd have had a better time. What? Wait a minute. Shouts to
I
MC
do miss
Hammer.
them days when it was, yeah.
Shout
Go
to
ahead.
MC Hammer, one of the greatest performers in the hip
One of
hop,
the greatest.
ever in hip hop. You know what I mean? And I think that as we're older now, we can kind of reflect, how important he was to hip hop. You know what
He
I'm
was
saying?
in uncharted water. Like nobody done what he was doing.
I mean, well, I just think that, that, but I think more than that, I think he was representing a sound, a vibe. What people act like right? You see the thing where Jadakiss was talking slick about will.i.am because will.i.am said that thing, and then when Jadakiss was talking about it, he was saying it like as if will.i.am isn't hip hop, and I'm like, yo, fam, not for nothing. Most of the cats from that, like all that type of whatever, underground, it's not underground hip hop. It's like poverty hip hop is what I really, to be honest with you, what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I grew up with this and my life was also,
Right.
my mother didn't take care of us and my dad was a loser. And it's like, yeah, damn, son, like your life sucked. You know what I mean? And it's like, what it is that, before that, the acts that made hip hop the $million business it became in the 90s, multi-million-dollar business that it became in the 90s, and then helped to transition it into the billion-dollar industry that it remains being, right? It's not these cats. It's not the locks. It's not
Hammer.
no disrespect to locks. It's not Hammer either. You know who it is? It's Houdini with songs like Friends, How Many of Us Have Them, or The Freaks Come Out at Night. You know what I'm saying? It's Stetsasonic with, all any number of these songs. It's
Ghost Step was my joint back then, bro.
Yeah.
And now about Ghost Stetson was for us, right? But when you talk about talking all that jazz, that was it's Big Daddy
Worldwide.
Kane.
Yeah.
It's Kane with his style. It's the message. It's Grandmaster Flash with such a poignant piece of poetry that my mother, who was in her 40s at the time, if I remember correct, was like, yo, she could dig it. She could hear it. They were the ones that it's Houdini. It's the Fat Boys. Those are the ones that made hip hop. It's Slick Rick. It's Dougie Fresh. You understand? These are the ones that made hip hop palatable for the world. It's Run DMC. You know what I'm saying? That was what made this variety, this fun cornucopia of stuff, such so that it's the same reason why New York fell off. And the reason why New York fell off was inherent arrogance, right? And what happens is that you start forgetting. You don't know why. Like you lose track of why people love you. Like people don't love New York because they scared of New York, right? I mean, they respect that New York was a big city, and you could definitely get murdered there, right? But it wasn't. That's not what made for a century. People travel from all over the world, pack up their dreams in a little suitcase and jump on a bus and find themselves at the Port Authority trying to figure out how they was going. Like how you ever heard Stevie Wonder's everything's the living in the city, and dude get off the bus and be like New York City, just like our skyscrapers and everything. Like that what made people do that, because New York was the capital of entertainment, Broadway, music. It was a port city. You understand? Financial hub. You understand? I mean, you've got Harlem. I mean, you've got all these Brooklyn. You got all these so much. It's a quilt of so many important things that make life beautiful and amazing, and it captured people's imagination. And so did hip hop at that time. So when we look at artists like Hammer, who's third and fourth generation hip hop at this point, right? What we're seeing is somebody that comes from the same traditions that UMCs come from and anybody else, which is we grew up watching black and white TVs. You heard?
Yeah.
We grew up watching Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, and we grew up watching Frank Sinatra and The Wiz come on Channel 7. We grew up seeing Sammy Davis Jr. and Red Fox, and we seen what a song, like in those days you had to be a song and dance man. You could. That's why a lot of rappers from that era used to be dancers, because it was a legitimate come up. You understand?
Yeah.
So so you know, when you got on stage, like here's the ill thing. You want to do something fun, you can't do it now because we on a computer screen, right? But next time you get a chance, if you in the proximity of another human being, right, close one eye and do like this, and then see how big that person looks, and you'll see like, oh, they only this big in my eye. You understand? Like this is how big the person is. Obviously, the person is 5'9", but if I'm looking at them, they're this big. So if I'm standing on stage, I can't just be like, yo, this and that and this and that, because you can't.
Right,
nothing's happening, right? So what do you got to do? You got to do all that and big movements, because that's what we learned those things, because that was what was available for us to draw from. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, man, it's like, you know, so when you look at a Hammer and stuff like that, this dude did such a phenomenal job. And then what he did as a man, this is a man, a young man in this industry, the initiatives that he took for his community, whether it worked out for him in the end or not, that is not relevant. What is most relevant in this is that this man, he's a brave man, like many of us, that took his wonderful opportunity and extended it to his community. And I'm sure that he saved a few lives doing it. And for that, hip hop should be extremely proud to be in the presence of a man of that quality.
That's what's up. Kool Kim, this DJ Red Groove. I have a couple of questions for you. Big fan.
Thanks, bro.
Who was doing your production back then in the early days?
The production was being done by RNS and Haas, aka Phantom. They go by Phantom now. You heard? They were the ones that did the production. And let me say, Groove, you know what I'm saying? When being there to see it, right? Bro,
was it like SP error, or what were they using?
MPC and Sonic EPS 16 plus.
Word.
They had what's the other one, the bigger one that came out? ASR. It was like ASR, but it's the ASR. What's the one that's the Triton?
Triton.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Triton was out back then. Okay.
Or the Trinity or the Triton, one of the two. But I know that it was that quality type of thing, and you know, but I know it was either the ASR or the in Sonic 16 plus. I'm not sure for sure. But what I would say is this, like, again, this is one of the things that I think sometimes that it's intentional that rap got dumbed down, because, bro, Groove, to imagine, man, being in a room where you seeing these two young cats, man, that they don't have any engineering training. I have no training in this. Nobody's putting you onto this. No one's, but they're in front of a board learning. I'm watching them learn on the fly, right? And when you listen to a song like Blue Cheese, there's like 4 snares in there. There's like 4 kicks in there. Yeah. You know, the level of the depth that they went sonically, and how they were just absorbing like the engineering component from the then engineer Shlomo Sonnenfeld, who passed away, I believe this year or maybe last year. Man, it's a testament to the brilliance of hip hop. And that's why it's so important that as hip hoppers, right, be us mature or otherwise, it's incumbent upon us to lean back into consciously, not waiting for it to be a wave, but standing on the fact that it has to be the wave, that we got to continue to edify that component of hip hop, because this is where our genius lies. This is where our brilliance lies. And this is one of the reasons why, because we don't celebrate that, you know, we're not seeing the multi-million-dollar technological based deals that hip hop should be engaged in, because hip hop DJs in particular, all right, producers in particular, help to innovate the entire world of sonic transmission and sampling. I mean, we are as important to sound quality as Dolby is, as you know what I mean. And
Yeah.
I think that we've got to consider those things, man. Like those important things to think about. And so when we talk about a Will I Am, right, and we speak about somebody like that and say, oh, you know, he don't know hip. It's like, my man, you can't be, you have no idea what you're saying. He is one of hip hop's greatest
Heck
sons.
yeah.
This dude
I mean, we
Saw him live.
We met Will I Am when he was a b-boy.
Yeah.
Right. That's what. He talks about how much he loved One to Grow On, that he used to boogie to that. You understand what I'm saying? So, and you know, and I was a choreographer, so I like, I'm at the dance battle. Will, he better hurry up and hit the floor because my back is starting to act up. I almost had a sciatic thing going on. I was like, hold on, y'all got to. But you know, I think that we've got to get to a space where, you know, this ain't like, we're not kids anymore. And so we've got to stop looking at things through like children eyes and start really engaging the big picture of all that we've experienced and all that's going on and this amazing culture that we're a part of, man. Groove, you had another question for me?
Yeah, I do, brother. What is your association or affiliation with the Wu-Tang Clan?
It's you know, it's a difficult question, man.
Because I believe I saw like a remix or something like that associated with you too.
Well, here's how it goes. You know, me and Meth go back to grade school, 4th grade, if I'm correct. You know what I'm saying? Play band together and all that. And that's one of my best friends, you know what I'm saying, at the time. You know what I mean? You know, and let me say, man, you know, even as a kid, Meth wanted it. You ever see somebody that you could tell they're trying,
Right.
like they're like, I want to be, and I recognize it because that's the way I am. So I was like, yeah, he wanted, you know what I'm saying? And you know, Staten Island is a small town, so you know everybody pretty much know everybody for the most part. You heard? Or it's like 2 degrees of separation. Like you gonna know somebody that knows somebody. Like it ain't hard to get at nobody. But you know, in terms of, you know, UGod, that's another one that I know. You know what I'm saying? I know him personally.
Salute you, God.
And RZA I knew loosely back when he used to rhyme with his brother named Forrest, who would later on call himself is the guy Asham. And when RZA just was DJing and stuff like that. I didn't know Capadonna, but Capadonna was go by OG back in the day, original Ghana. You heard? But there's no relationship between us.
Okay.
Beyond, well, you know, UMCs had hoped there would be one. You dig? And so if you look on our first album, the first time you hear Wu-Tang is you hear it from us.
Right.
And the reason that you hear it from us is not a matter of we owned it, and like it's not to infer that. It's to suggest that we knew that they were coming. You know what I mean? Our grind was more effective, and so we came first. And you know, I think that was problematic for some people. When you think you're like, I think, you know, I'm supposed to be the guy, but then you turn out to be like you the main character. It's like, oh, they're the main characters. Hold on, nah. It's like, so as opposed to being excited, you know, cats were young, and so they couldn't process it. You know, whoever was in leadership didn't process it positively. You know what I mean? And so, unfortunately, from my perspective, and I can't speak to this with any level of real authority, I can only tell you what I experienced. It was as if, I'll say, that there was a concerted campaign against UMCs when Wu-Tang came out. You know what I'm saying? And
by the machine, you mean? You know what I'm saying?
by them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I'm not even saying by the like, I wouldn't say Ghostface or Raekwon, like, you know, but then again, there's a case for that too, because Meth being my people's, you know what I'm saying, had that line, niggas crossing over, but they don't know no better. And a lot of people took that to be pointed at us. You dig? And
Yo.
You know, it's unfortunate because the impact that had, and the fact, and it went as far as a lie had begun being floated that the UMCs are claiming they were from Staten. I'm not from Staten Island, from Brooklyn. You dig? And so, you know, we stopped getting love from our hometown. The only thing that really offset that was that we were such a magnificent group, like the way we were doing our thing and performing, and we was just really, you know, when you like, we had small town syndrome. And if you've ever experienced that, like, you know, I live in Augusta, Georgia now, small town syndrome, like, no matter what you like, you know, they're just not going to show love to the cat from their town until everybody else is showing them love. Then everybody else, like somebody cousin that's living somewhere else, like, yo, you know the so and so, they out there, you know, in town. You be like, yeah, I know them cats. Like, yo, they dope, man. You got, like, yeah, that's my man's in them. Then you become hometown's man's in them. But up to that point, so it just, you know, I try to speak about it in a more measured tone as an adult. You know what I'm saying? More mature person now. You know, if you'd have caught me maybe 10 years ago, I'd be hooting and hollering and carrying on. But I think that, you know, I understand also that these were young people. They were young people that managed to achieve a magnificent thing, a magnificent, impossible thing. You understand? And defied all odds to become arguably the best hip hop group of all time. Yep. And I mean, you know, somewhere in there you have to allow them fault and give them the grace of the mistakes they make, and pray that, you know, you just hope the people that may have been harmed by some of those mistakes can recover and do what they do.
Word.
Man, wow.
That's a heavy ass answer, wasn't it? I told you.
You hate on him, but
let's get him to start some beef with Wu-Tang. You know, I mean, because it's like, you know, I think again, you know, when I was a child, I played as a child, I spoke as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became an adult, I set those childish things aside. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but, you know, I think that it's important that, especially with us being elder statesmen now, right? It's important that we have measured discussions about this brilliant art form and culture that we built. It's more. We have to have the capacity to analyze our experiences and talk about them in a way that's productive, and not lean always into where we was at when we was kids, like where we didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? Well, we do know better now. And so what do? Do we perpetuate the lies and ignorance that make us blind, deaf, and dumb? Or do we analyze things and hopefully provide context that safeguards our generations to come? You know what I mean? Like, we got to remember that this is a culture, and we would like to see the culture persist in perpetuity. And in order to do that, it requires us to engage this art form with the level of respect and thoughtfulness that it deserves.
We're writing a history book right now. Somebody will look back on this. We're part of the legacy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perspective gives you clarity. I got a good question. Is having I saw a clip of Train, and they were dancing.
I remember that.
To Blue Cheese.
Of who?
They were dancing to Blue Cheese on Soul Train.
Oh, Soul Train. Okay. Yeah.
Was having a crossover hit like crippling? Like, I remember back then, like when we thought of the crossover, they don't left us.
No, we wasn't there yet. We wasn't there yet. See, this is where it gets interesting, Mel. Is you gotta do the knowledge. At this point, we're fighting for a stake in the game.
Right.
Remember, you know, we're still on mixtapes. I mean, not mixed. We're still on mixed radio. College radio is a driving force in hip hop. The Friday, Saturday show at after 9 or after 12 is a driving force in hip hop. We're not mainstream radio like that. Groups like UMCs and others that were able to help get us more into the mainstream in that regard, like where we were making music that was safe enough to be placed. You got to remember that too. Like you can't begrudge anybody for making music at that time that was fun and safe. You know what I mean? Again, as I was talking about people that was important to it spread and shout to Will Smith too, man. You know what I'm saying? Fresh Prince and Jazzy Jeff and the French Prince, man. Where would we be without cats like this that made music that was safe and engaging enough that it could get played on terrestrial radio? You can't play the sort of stuff that we can play now and listen to now. It could have never played on the radio in them times.
Never happened.
In fact,
back then.
believe it or not, I'll go as far as or just stop just short of saying that UMC's kind of ushered in some of the curse words, because we had damn, I'm granddad, step up, damn, got over. That was generally you couldn't use damn.
Right.
Oh wow.
But the song was just got over. You know what I'm saying? Now, that didn't hurt us at all. In fact, truth be told, it's a lot of factors in what makes a famous person famous, what makes a successful artist successful. And when I tell you that the talent is way low on the totem pole, it really is, guys. You know what I mean? Like your favorite artists are not your favorite artists because you chose them. You understand what I'm saying? Unless we talking about artists that come before solid record label rollouts. So if we say Rakim is one of your favorites, you could claim that and stand on that, because what machine was really driving that other than the very word of mouth, grassroots, you know what I mean, movement that hip hop was. That's what makes it. Run DMC is a big group. Before we get to, because these are the ones that sung a song about my Adidas, walk on concert floors, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, they really, they were the ones that pioneered us into getting endorsements to that level, because they were able to show. So when you talk about groups like that, you can say that, right? When you talk about groups that have, now you on a record label that has $1 million budget or a multi-million-dollar structure, that you got to keep in mind that in those days, wherever you went, there was a radio rep. So there's a guy that lives in that community, in that tri-state area or that particular state or whatever, that market, that he knows all the DJs, he knows all the radio cats, he knows all the club dudes, he knows all the people that's going to play your record. So when you get to town, he worked for whatever record label you work for, you recording under, and he's bringing you to all of those radio stations. And all you got to do is just, hey, well, you got to do the rats, kiss babies and shake hands and kiss babies. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? You just got to do the thing. They got a guy that's a sales rep. This guy he's in that market. He's going to bring you to all the record stores. You're going to sign all the autograph stuff, and, you're going to do in-stores, and you're going to kick it and have you're going to do all that stuff. And this is the work that you seen happening that you didn't see happening, but made your favorite artist your favorite artist. You're not realizing that the radio is not playing songs for free, for real. They playing songs after you come through. They bought ads on the station. It's a bunch of ways to pay for something without paying for play. Right. Yeah, without it being outright payola. And in some cases, it was outright payola. And I'm not saying I personally witnessed that, but I witnessed the subterfuge version of it all the time. You understand? And so, yeah, fam, it's I don't know if I'm answering the question adequately, if I've been answering the question, but I think that when we look at what we love and why we love it and how that works and all that stuff like that, it's not as simple as because somebody's dope, or it's not a matter of whether you're not crossing over at that time. At that time, what you're doing is you're establishing a multi-million-dollar company. And all of these artists of those times deserve more thanks than they'll ever get for their contribution to so many people's lives. But that's the way of things, though. So you kind of, unfortunately, you know what I mean?
So you guys were selling to Wild Pitch, is that correct?
Yeah, we signed the Wild Pitch EMI. We actually got walked in that door by Guru. But no, not Guru. Premier walked us in that door. He walked that dog for us because he liked what we was doing, and I'd even go as far as saying that he was inspired by UMC's album to do the Jazzmatazz album the way they did it.
Oh, really? Okay.
I could be wrong. I could have my time frames wrong. I got to look at when the Jazzmatazz album came out, because I'm not sure if that came out before or after us. We had to fact check that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out myself, because I also
yeah.
had Lord Finesse and OC that was also signed. You all like mingling around or touring together at that time?
Nah. Wild Pitch was a terrible label that way. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
shit.
in terms of like, you know, well, I mean, I'm keeping it tall because, you know, again, you know, we gotta like, you know, have proper context for stuff, or at least we gotta have, you know, it again, you know, we could talk about the history and criticize the things that were wrong without saying that, you know, without it having to be like a scarlet letter on somebody. But I mean, as far as Stu Fine and Wild Pitch, I can't really speak too kindly of that experience, because he had an amazing roster of artists, and instead of lifting them up on wings, he had, you know, these are all kids that we were all like really gung-ho, man, and he could have done a lot with that. And instead, from my perspective, I felt as, you know, looking back at it in retrospect, I do believe that he went the, you know, get it and go. Like, you know, I get a little something out of this. I'm gonna matriculate this into a deal with a larger label, and, you know, I'm good to go, and my family's taken care of. As opposed to being like, hey, I got amazing artists that if I invest a little effort into them, if I don't put them in a position where they're suffering, which I think is this very weird thing. And you know what I'm saying, with respect to you, Rob, that what I'm gonna say next may be a little offensive, but it almost seems like, well, you know, how these guys acknowledge it though, man. You know, it's almost seemed like white people think that black people enjoy suffering, or that we create best in
pain.
in painful conditions, right? So it's like, now don't get them too much of nothing, because if you do that, then they'll get on drugs, you know, like they'll start messing with women and wine, which might be true.
We
too, right?
never gave you guys money.
Yeah, I mean, that was really like the mindset, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No, I get it. But you know, and I feel like that was his business model. And so, you know, if you really look into the Wild Pitch story, just about every artist got into some kind of altercation with him. Like, you know, ours was the most notorious, because he got, you know, it was bad for him when it happened with us.
Are you and your former partner, I believe it's Haas G, if I'm pronouncing that right, still in contact?
Yeah. Not only are we in contact, we in the middle of working on some new UMCs music. How about that?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
You heard it here on Destroy All Podcast first. The
Word
UMCs are working on a new project. I just got finished doing the first draft of the first song that we just did after like 18 years. And let me just say, we never broke up as a group. Okay. You know what I'm saying? But in the course of human events, right? Yeah, you know, even if you got, Haas had aspirations to become, he wanted to be an executive and a producer. Like that was what he wanted to be. And I wanted to rap. And there was a point that we had come to the impasse of what were we going to do? Well, I'm going to keep on rapping, and you do what you're going to do. You my mans, do your thing, brother, because before this, you my friend. And because you're my friend, I want to see you succeed and be happy, because we only got one of these, cat. And you know, we could listen, fam, do what you want to do, man. I mean, I think that, you know, that's the mark of real friendship, is that, yo, I want to see my dude, you know, it doesn't matter what it does for me, man. Just live, man. Like, do your thing, man. So that you know, I don't want you to be holding animosity for me with me because I done locked you into this. Nah, no way, man. Yeah. No way.
Yeah, I can say we went through the similar thing. Me and Rob, we had DFI, and Rob said, I'm done. But I wasn't done.
Yeah.
But he was like, don't let me hold you. You know, just keep doing you.
Right, bro.
Just
drive.
Do what you do. I'm just not doing it right now.
Right on.
So like, yeah, we like never officially broke up, but yeah, you know, just got to keep going and doing what you do.
You got to make a move. You got to make a move, man. Like, you know, right now I spent the last 5 years, man, just earning my name. again. You know what I'm saying? Like, just putting in my bones, man. Like, just keeping it hip hop. Like, I never really was in a space where I felt like I had the room to be arrogant. I'm like, yo, I'm so and so. I'm Kool Kim from the UMCs. These cats don't even know my name. That be knowing the group, don't even know which one I am. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'm not in a position to be arrogant that way. So I spent these last 5 years just working really hard, man. Like I'd be on Instagram doing these 1 minute takedowns. So I'd wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, come to the studio, find some kind of beat that I really liked, and then I just write a rhyme, engineer that joint, mix it down. Then I shoot a video that same morning and had that joke up at 11 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? And that was my hustle on Instagram for like solid 3 years straight, killing them. And in those time, I was just, I've been bit by bit, one, establishing that the 90s era MCs work isn't done.
Right.
We've still got work to do. And that work is establishing what it means to be a mature MC. What does it mean to be a 54-year-old MC? What does it mean to be 45 and still spitting, or 60 and still spitting? Can it be done? We're going to find out, because we out here doing it.
Right.
And so, I've been doing that, and I'm actually releasing this. I've actually released a single to direct to consumer on my website called Third Eye, and it's produced by my man's Party Crasher out of Atlanta, and the video and it's streaming tomorrow, actually. Okay. You know what I mean, on the 7th, on the 18th. So tomorrow might not be tomorrow when y'all air this, but on the 18th,
it's live right now. So anybody listening, go check that.
So if you see, as y'all see under my name, is the website koolkimumc.com. And I want to say a couple of things about that real quick, if you don't mind. It may cover a couple of thoughts worth hearing. Okay. Number one, I would like I'm going to talk to hip hop and say, rejoice that someone like me is making music, and hope that I win. I don't gotta be your favorite dude. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta be in your top 5 just yet. You may not. Y'all don't know. Like you may not be tracking. I know how many people follow me. I damn near know everybody that follow me. You know what I'm saying? I be knowing who rock with me. You know what I'm saying? But rejoice, and the reason why is because we still out here. Yes. And let this be a message to us all, fam. That I dare y'all all to be dope. We just begun, fam. Like it's not over. You still gotta, especially my brothers, man. Like, my brothers and my sisters that we've been through this, But I want to say that my brothers in specific, because I can relate to it. I don't know if it's the same experience for ladies, right? But there's this point that we get to where you gotta take care of your lady. You heard, you got your kids, man, grandkids. You understand? And got 9 to 5, ain't no time for punchlines and shit like that, man. You know what I'm saying? It's no time for that no more, man. It's time for, I gotta take care of this, and I'm worried about my son. He gotta, he ain't tracking, and I gotta, in the house, I gotta get a new roof on this house, man, because you know what I mean? Like, these things become all encompassing, and and then but here's the illy thing about this. Somewhere in there we let go of the things that make us passionate. And something in particular about hip hop, there's always this thing about people embarrassing you for wanting to engage in this culture. Like, oh, you this old and you rhyming still? Yeah. It's people is dressing up like the Hulk and going to conventions.
Right. Yeah.
And let me say, I might be one of them people. Like, you know what I'm saying? I might throw in a Luke Cage content. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's all right? You supposed, because the thing is, you're supposed to engage your passion. You're supposed to be DJing. You're supposed to get you a mic and crack open a podcast because you want to engage your culture. This is your passion. And it's your passion that's going to keep you alive. It's your passion that makes you get up and want to get into a thing. It's your passion that got y'all up right now. It's the passion that creates the camaraderie that I'm seeing between 5 men that puts y'all in the position to talk to some of your favorite artists and do the things that y'all done this year. It's that passion that provisions that and enables that. You understand? And so we've got to celebrate that. Like, let's stop. We got to get off that silly talk. it's not even silly talk, it's stupid talk. When people be like, yo, so you still do, yo, you what with the little rhymes you doing? My man, like
Should be, you're
like,
still doing it.
yeah, it's like, yo, son, you still going to that, you still going to that job that you just a number at, that as soon as you die, they'll put somebody else, or as soon as they done with you, they'll get somebody else, and you be out of there like you never was ever there. Whatever I did, I'll forever be known for this. I'll always be like, my name is in the history books. I've achieved something that 0.0 points, you know what I'm saying, 0.000000001% of the people in the world will ever do, much less, you understand, in the future, the past, it's never going to be that many people that achieve what we've achieved with this. And so celebrate that. And even if you a cat that you just was rhyming locally, but you get busy, and you remember that time we was at the so-and-so club and so-and-so jumped on stage, he hit that, that's a worthy memory.
Word.
That's a worthy experience. It's a cat talking about the big game when he was in high school in his 60s. You get to you heard, you get to talk about, you know what I mean? Yeah, be Al Bundy in it.
Talk about our moments.
You're supposed to talk about your moments, because these are the things that made life worth living. This is and music. You see what they say, art, they hang art on walls.
Right.
Music, art decorates walls. Music decorates your life, your time. You think about songs and how they correlate to times and moments. Songs are a moment, bro. And so I want to say to, people watching, you know what I mean, that, yeah, I'm putting out music, and so let us rejoice in that. And then also pray that I win. Pray that I win. In fact, don't just pray that I win, help me win. And I'll tell you why I'm asking y'all to help me win. Because look, if Kool Kim, an underdog, right? Because I'm an underdog, I feel like, you know what I mean? If you get an underdog wins, right? What does that mean for the culture? Listen to what I'm saying. If Kool Kim come up, right, and like, yo, Kim doing his thing, what other your favorite acts is going to get brave? Because they're going to see that there's a way.
Battery in people's back. Yeah.
There's a way. Hip hop is back. There's a way. And if you look at this myriad amount of new songs that's out right now, man, a lot of people dropping dope music, right? Go to their YouTubes, and you go to the first of all, go to the YouTube, watch the videos, comment, like it, you heard, so that we show the value of our music, and we have to vote. This is what voting is. You understand? Economic voting and interest voting. Because right now your attention is the hottest commodity in the world, right? They're damn near wars behind your intention. You understand? So go and do that, but as well, look in those comment sections and look at what people are saying. And what is always, yo, hip hop is back. Yo, it's a great time to be alive. Yo, I can't believe I'm hearing so and so and so and so together. Yo, it's exciting because I'm working on an album called The Eye of God, and the collaborations that I got with people is people that I've never met, but we're older now. We don't got them little silly divisions of, oh, I'm down with this one. Now we just men that have this mutual experience. I've had some of the greatest adult, not triple X, but like adult conversation, like just grown man discussions with artists that I've never spoke to until that conversation, and just be on the phone and we talking about family. And man, I talk about, I just out of respect that, the privacy of the conversations, I ain't gonna be, specific here. But when I tell you some of the people that I like, the most unlikely, I'm talking about cats that I'll be like, what? You was talking about gardening with that guy? I will give you a good one that I feel comfortable sharing though. It's like, so I it's a part of my content. I show a lot of my life, you know what I'm saying, and things that I do, because I built my house. I told myself how to, do all the trades, because I bought a little house for $8,000, and I just renovated it myself so we could have a little forever home. We ain't had to pay no rent or nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I shared that journey with people. And then when we got it all together, over the years and stuff, we had built this really nice garden. And who really enjoyed that was Master Ace. And so he would send me pictures of his garden that he have in Brooklyn in his brownstone, you know what I'm saying? Him and his wife have. And so one day I'm in the Bay Area a couple years back to do Hiro Day, right?
Mhm.
And I'm walking through the crowd and somebody tapped me on the shoulder. I turn around and it's Master Ace, and he come in and give me a homeboy hug. You know how we do. And he's like, "What's up?" He's like, "What's up, Gardner?" I'm like, yo. I'm saying, like I run in the cats. I run in the cats, and they'll be like, instead of talking about no rap stuff, right? They'll be like, because they see me do the DIY stuff, right? So they be like, "Yo, son, I was just working on my bathroom." I was like, "What?"
I'm gonna fix my garbage disposal.
Yeah. No, I swear, yo, if you knew how close you was to something right now, that somebody, and if you knew who it was, you would be like, "What?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yeah.
Like, yo, you know what I'm saying?
It's always hard to remember that the people that we see as stars or just artists, we don't think about their day-to-day lives and how they have to go the same type of stuff we do.
Kool Kim got a plunger too.
Yeah. I thought you was gonna say something like I did pottery with Ice Cube or some shit.
Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? But I see Ice Cube one time. Now this is when I was young, and here's the thing about, man, I was saying, like, people don't be knowing what got them there, like it was a time I didn't understand. Like, we struggled with the whole happy rap thing when people was like violating that, right? Because you don't want nobody to be like carrying you like you soft, like, it's like, yeah, I'm making music that's fun, because I ain't gonna like.
Kool Kim, it takes more bravery to be happy.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you know what I'm saying?
To be a happy rapper.
To be it takes more courage to be your authentic self. You know what I'm saying? In a space where people feel like, yo, I gotta perpetrate a fraud because people won't accept the cat that loves comic books and anime and want to play with G.I. Joes and you know what I mean? Like, only person really successfully lean into that like that is Kwame. To this day, he can lean into that effectively. You know what I mean? And
on the toy store.
Yes, he sure does. You know what I'm saying? He got one before that called that was Your Mama Don't Wear No Drawers. That Your Mama joint. And he got to rave reviews. People enjoying it because it ain't that he killing it, like he murdering it. Man, I be doing this big one, but I'm just saying, like, he ain't. It ain't that. It's just that he's having a good time. He's doing some Kwame shit, and people love Kwame shit. Yeah. And you forget that people enjoy that, and you know that's the thing, man. We gotta like, so with the UMCs, I didn't it took a while before I understood that fully. Like, so when we did the second album and things changed the way they did, which I thought you might be alluding to when you was asking about, that going from one album to the next. There was a lot going on that was traumatic for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was very difficult, B. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't do it any justice trying to articulate it in the time that we have today, but suffice to say, it's hard on us, man. You know what I'm saying? And so you were looking at two young men that had so much light in their heart. You saw the cancer that the music industry can be to these young men. And it was very much, to its own extent, a cry for help. You know what I'm saying? Like, all we did was stop short of being like, help! Like, that was the only thing left to do. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I mean? And so, but if I had understood what made UMCs beautiful, and what made me think about it, is because I had ran into Ice Cube one time at a club, and when he saw us, his whole face brightened up. Yo, you see, like, and that was what everybody did. Yo, yeah. And I didn't realize until later in life that we were like this group that gave people permission to be their natural self, to have fun. We were this group that was like cats, like either they big brothers that was having fun, depending on how old you was at the time, or we was like your little brothers that you like watching them have, like, you know how you could have a little brother or a little cat or your son or something like that, and you see them just having a good time being themselves, and it just warm your heart. It makes you feel good about life.
Yeah.
You know, UMCs had something like that going on, and we were providing people with a modicum of freedom. And but you know, again, you know, a lot of that comes from poor leadership. If we weren't going through what we were going through with Wild Pitch, I think we might have been able to see that, but it just wasn't that way, man. It just was hard, yo.
The company was coming at you, telling you we don't want these records anymore. We don't want
No.
Happy anymore.
You know, it's not that. What you having happen is you sign to a record label. They don't pay you in advance or nothing like that. So you're not having the experience that, you know, that Todd Pennington moved this house extreme makeover situation where you like you go away for a week and you come back and you got a mansion where your little 2-bedroom home is at. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that. You know, it's, you know, you're just working at it, and fame kind of slowly creeps up on you. But like, even when you look behind me, you see the UMC poster.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got that. We had like $100 budget to go buy an outfit for the thing. So, you know, we just went to like Prados and got some cheap t-shirts with hoods on them, and, you know, some jeans and some. We spent most of it, like, I'm out a little bit more than 100, like maybe $200, $250. Or we spent most of it on the sneaker game that you see. So you see, I had to, you know what I'm saying, like that. You know how that go. And you know, when we got a #1 record, when Blue Cheese went #1, when I got this joint, right? This is
Wow.
you heard. So
Yeah, the billboard.
when I got this, I had to hop the train to get home because I didn't have enough money to get home.
Oh, damn.
That day. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you know, enough isn't said about the conditions under which, again, some of your favorite artists made those classic hits. You know what I mean? And it's not no sob story. Like, I'm not on that vibes. It's more like, you know, like, you know, just how to, you know, in the mortal words of Barry Wright, you know, that's how it was in them days, man. That's how it was in those days. Those were some of the things that cats would experience in their endeavors to be Irene Cara, man. Fame. I want to live forever. Light up the sky like a flame. Fame. You know what I'm saying? I feel it coming together. People remember my name, man. Remember my name. You know what I'm saying? We all trying to live forever, fam. Yeah. And so, you know, that came before everything else sometimes, man. I think that if you articulate it correctly, you'd be hard pressed to find too many artists that didn't have that same sentiment, man. It's like, yo, I want to live forever, man. Like, I want people to, y'all seen this Instagram clip, man. Pardon me, I'll be rambling and stuff, but it's just that, you know, I just be seeing stuff.
All good.
You know, I seen this Instagram clip, and this cat, he's on there, and he's, oh man, it's just hard to even talk about because it's heart wrenching. He's telling the story about how all his people had passed. His brothers died. He was a young man too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I feel like he might have been in his 30s at the best. And he was a young man, and so his brothers passed away. They died tragically. His mom and his dad was gone. He had no other relatives. He was the last person in his family, and he didn't have no woman at the time. He's like, I ain't got no lady and nothing like that. And he was like tearful, like he was holding his composure, but you could see the hurt. If he was acting, he acted the shit out of this. You heard? And he's like, it was just like, yo, I'm putting this out here because I want some record that I existed. I exist, man. And I mean, when you think about that, King, like, damn, yo, I just want people to know I exist, son. Like, come on, man. Like, what, you know, like that's it, son. Like, I mean, when I really get to the thing of it, I want to be able to take care of my family. I want my life to be justified, that I didn't waste my time doing this. And I want people to know that I was here, man. My life meant something like that. I'm not the little Dutch girl that just went and got milk and from the
Right.
and then like this, they life just it just doesn't exist at all. There's no one to remember them, or they left nothing behind for the world that existed past their own generation. Like, you know what I mean? I want to have something that's transcendent to me.
Legacy.
And that's yeah, man, it's legacy, bro. Word.
Mhm.
How we support adult contemporary hip hop? What strides do we, as the listening audience, have to take to support this machine?
So the devil's biggest trick is what? Convincing people that he didn't exist, right? Wrong. That is not the devil's biggest trick. If such a devil exists, right? His biggest trick, his grandest achievement was convincing you that you don't exist.
Hmm.
Let me lay it
Yeah.
on you.
Keep going.
How many times has somebody told you about an album that they like? Told you it was fire. Now, this one requires some honesty, gentlemen.
Let's
How
go.
many times did somebody tell you that they heard that so and so album is crazy? And then you be like, yo, you heard that album? And they be like, nah, my man's told me about it.
Mm.
And you
Yeah.
accept that album is fire because the person that told you told. You might even go as far as telling somebody else that album is fire because your man's told them that it was fire.
Right.
It's like good food at a restaurant.
Yep. Word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's how powerful you are. That's how powerful that you can make a suggestion to somebody that will travel to 3 other generations of 3 other people, and none of them would have even heard what you heard, but they taking it on your word. People who have taken you on your word, and it ain't even you. It ain't even coming from you when they took it on your word. And so we forget the power of word of mouth. So one of the things we got to do is get back to talking about dope hip hop and having, that doesn't exist right now for us is anything that speaks to dope ass hip hop from classic artists that are making music now. Why aren't we talking about? Why do we not have podcasts totally dedicated to that? Why don't we have playlists totally dedicated to that? Because because we older now, we ain't got no time for that. Bull, man, we got time for that.
We got time for it.
Right now, you spending time filling them spaces in with nonsense. These are things that don't even drive your passion. But a lot of y'all stay away from it because y'all be scared to have to to confront yourself with the fact you're not engaging what you love. Don't be afraid of that. It's all right to confront that. It's all right, fam. Like, it's all right. You're supposed to do what you want. Yo, fam, if you love it on your way, let me tell you something that what got me back to rhyming heavy. One day I'm talking to my mother, man, you know what I'm saying, right outside the gate, man. She's talking to my mother and shit. And she's about to head out. She just was visiting and hanging out. She was gonna head back home. And I at this point I'm playing around with hip hop. I'm having fun with it because that's what I wanted to do. Like I really just love hip hop. So if nothing was there for me to do, like any possibilities of me doing anything, I would still be rhyming because I just love the sound of it, man. I just love hearing myself rhyme. I love making I love this shit, man. It's just dope, man. It's fun. And so, what I'm talking about, and I sometimes get concerned because over the years, I feel like I'm selling big dreams. Like it's not, and I can't come home from prison, be trying to sell you on this prison stuff. Yo, son, I endeavor now that I'm home, I endeavor to seek out gainful employment in a job that will be facilitating my opportunities to then build it. You're like, yeah, all right, my boy. Like, yeah. All right. So I sometimes get scared that that's what I'm sounding like. You heard? Word. So I kind of was like, hey, I'm doing this, but she's like, look. She said, I'm gonna tell you what. And this is what I tell y'all. Take this to heart, everybody that's listening. She says to me, look, you married your woman, you love your wife, you raised your family, you built them a home. Enjoy your life. Keep it hip hop. My mother.
That's dope.
My mother says, keep it hip hop. Just keep it hip hop. She says, the minute you stop enjoying it, I don't want you doing it. But if you enjoying it, just you enjoy yourself. You know what my wife told me the other day? He said, yo, I'll never let you quit unless you're ready to stop. I'll never let you quit. If nothing else, you gotta at least have that. Like you gotta have something that's for you. I never let you quit. You understand? So
That's part of your health. It's part of your well-being.
Part of our
Mhm.
health.
Yeah, for real.
Word up.
like come on, like you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I forgot how I got here. What was the what
What can the listening audience
Oh yeah,
do?
so what can y'all do? So what can
Yeah.
y'all do, right? One, y'all can embrace that you still love this thing. You heard? The second thing that you can do is become active again. You know, hip hop, in the mortal words of KRS One, he says, you know, is one hip hop is to be hip, right? You got to be aware, like you got to know what's up. You're not hip hop if you ain't hip hop is the most we the most hippest, you know, we the culture war. We the ones that determine what's cool, right? But aside from that, hop is a verb. I mean, it's action. You take action. Let's talk about that action. You know what I'm saying? Y'all cats is what, in like Ohio?
Mhm.
Yeah, so y'all familiar with like Lynn Tolliver?
Mhm.
Yeah, used to play, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I guess he had like somebody tried to rob him one time. He shot somebody in the studio or something like that. You know what I'm saying? I think he played it. You're not in Columbus. Was he in Columbus or was he in Cleveland? He was in Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? Y'all familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lynn Tolliver's Cleveland.
Yeah. So, you know, how did I get there? Like I got so caught up in what happened to my thing. But yo, you remember being up at nights trying to catch your favorite song on tape?
Hell yeah.
Of course.
Yo, that was, you had to go to school in the morning in some cases,
2
right?
a.m. to 5 a.m.
I gotta
Wave
catch this rock,
88.3.
All right. And y'all was up with the hand
Yeah.
on a pause button, like, yo, I'm finna put together this classic tape right now. I'm about to
Wait
kill
to smoke
everything.
tomorrow.
Or don't let me find out one of y'all had a cousin.
Right, the bus stop.
Don't let me find out one of y'all had a cousin that sent y'all a New York tape. We were like, yo, I got
Oh,
a New
yeah.
York tape. Like you had a New York tape.
Anybody who had a Magic Mike tape, royalty here, you
Yeah.
might as well give them a key to the city.
Come on. Like that was meaningful. Like you remember when you read the back of an album to find out who produced what and who was you want, like that was your doorway into this. You heard?
Yeah.
And so when we got to get back to, listen, it's different now. Like, you know, now we so flooded with nonsense, but even that's not an excuse, because before you couldn't, the dope hip hop was not being served on a platter when we was first coming up. We had to stay up from 2 to 5 in the morning to hear something.
Right.
You heard? That's what you did. And then they got up and then had to go do something in the morning. You heard? And we did that. So the same way as, I'm flooded with all this stuff. We was flooded with rock music and pop music and soul music, R&B music, whatever they was playing at them times. We wasn't just getting inundated with, you had to find dope hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You trafficked in it. That's damn near like drugs. You had a good tape. You heard? And in these days, we're inundated with a bunch of trash that doesn't speak to us, right? Or we're inundated with music that is not for us in the context of hip hop. It's for a different generation or a different region, right? And we have to know where to look, right? So we gotta look for it, and we gotta stop being lazy. The radio isn't gonna play your favorite artist no more. They don't got a deal, son. Like they're not gonna get on them stations like that. Mm-hmm. These outlets that we don't got a media that speaks to our demographic, and it will show you just how inept some of these talking head dude types are. Absolutely useless, because what business or what good is your business if you don't understand the simple concept of an underserved demographic developing products for an absolute, this is demographic, the hip hop, the 40 and to 65, 70-year-old hip hop, you know what I'm saying, demographic is
we're starving
that not only you're starving for, but you created it. it's supremely loyal to it. You're gonna die loving it. And you mean to tell me you haven't figured out how to market to these people? You mean to tell me you haven't figured out how to generate? I have, but I'm just saying, like, these cats have not figured out how to. It's a no-brainer.
We have the money. We can go buy stuff.
We have the empty nest. We got the time. Cats take 2 trips a year with their old lady. They're gonna be on a cruise on one of them. They're gonna go to the islands on the other. You know what I mean? Like we still, it's still like it's so simple, and yet
they won't do
nothing.
It. We can though. We can structure.
I'd give you a great example where you could do it. I do an event every year called Beach and Bars Barbecue, and I hope it's basically a barbecue that I have in my house. People say it's more, as they say, it's more than a barbecue, a little just short of a festival right now. Last year, this year.
You eating pork? Are you eating pork?
I mix the greens and the swine when I dine, King. You know what I'm saying? Hey, y'all, you got we got a little oink joint grill that you could cook off to the side of the I can't put it in my smoker though. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna put the beef brisket in the smoker this year. They got serious there. We had the cook off too. I killed from Jurassic 5, got busy. I killed from Jurassic 5.
That's my homie.
He's got a joint with a kill.
Oh, word.
Yeah. That's my brother, man. You know what I'm saying? Like Dinko DB out here for it. You know what I'm saying? Mikey D was out here. Shabam Sadiq was out here. DJ Shakim, that New Editions DJ, he was here chilling. Like, yo, we had b-boy competition. The babies was out b-boying. And it was just so much fun. Like, yo, when Shabam came on the block, he was like, yo, son, you turned the whole block into Beach Street. I was like, yes, man. Yo, Shakim was like, yo, man, because it was like a dope kickback because everybody was mature. But, we had the babies out front. I had the bouncy house for the really baby, for the baby babies. Yeah. And we just, and listen, like you see my house, yo, it's just regular old house. Like it's little regular. I ain't got no. They say you ain't coming to no mansion party. You come into the block. You gonna be around the way. And
go to the homie house.
When I tell you exactly, and when I tell you that cats drive from Connecticut, from Illinois, Florida. And
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati. I'm saying y'all talking, but listen, I'm telling you, if you come to Beach and Bar because we doing podcast, we do all kind of stuff because it be content fest too. So like everybody builds, and so everybody what happens is this is one of those spaces where you meet people like you could go to something where it's already popping and it's like there ain't no space for you there. Like you can't really do nothing. You know what I mean? Right. And you go to something where it's like it's a little more intimate. You know what I'm saying? You're like qualified because people like, yo, you're an early adapter. It already established you as being innovative. It already established you as somebody that really loves this thing. If and then you like, for to come to my house, it's like, hey, yo, fam, let me tell you something. Listen, people come to my house, all right? And, that could be a problem. You understand what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not even going to speak to no deterrence that I have to that. Suffice to say that regardless, whether I could do something about it, which I could, who wants that happening at their house, right?
Right.
No one. Yeah.
Family, when I tell you that the hip hop the hip hop I'm on, like this hip hop I'm about, fam, I can almost tear up, but I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to say how humbly and deeply I am. Quantity of love that people bring to my home and leave at my home. You heard? Like people come and they treat my home delicately. You heard? They want to help. We have fun together. everybody's comfortable. There's a different vibe when you invite people to your house. You're not at a club, you're not at this impartial. No, man, we had you welcome them, welcome, and then I'm welcoming people to their own. One of my favorite moments, and it was in the first one that I did, right? There was a sister, my sister Afro, Afro, she came up, I'm saying? This was the first year, right? So I was like, oh snap, Afro came up. She's like Africa Bambaataa minus the allegations
Yeah.
in the cyberspace, in the metaverse. Okay. And so she came through and she brought her husband and her babies. And we had the bouncy house for them. So they was there. And when I tell you the first one I did was in March 28th. So it's freezing outside. Right. I don't know what I was thinking. I can tell you what I was thinking, but I don't know what I was thinking, right? So she came, and when I seen her coming, and she's walking along the side of I'm pointing to it like y'all know where the fence is at, but she's coming along the side of the fence, and she's with her husband. Now, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this is a beautiful woman, right? She's known, her husband not so much. So in my mind, my immediate thought is, because I used to own this bar called Flow, and my whole thing was like, you gonna be somebody. Whoever come through my threshold, you're somebody. You're important. Mm-hmm. You're important here. You understand? So she comes through, and she's like, yo, I'm like, oh, Afro, what up? I'm shouting her out from as she's coming along the gate to come in. And she opens the gate, and she's like, yo, and I'm like, don't move. Don't even do nothing. You stay right there. And I run over to her husband. I just be like, my man, what's up, baby boy? Yo, welcome to my home, son. I was like, welcome to my home. And I get, I'll pull him in. I'm saying, yo, thank you so much for allowing your wife to come up here and hang out with us and come and be in your family with me, with you, son. Thank you so much. Welcome to my home, King. And I could feel whatever tension might have been in his spirit. Yeah. I could feel him like I could feel him just like what I'm saying, like how to hug it, like, oh yeah, word, like yeah. And man, when I tell you we had big fun, you understand? When I tell you that, like that's hip hop too, fam. I got a verse that says these rhymes are realer than a childhood in the ghetto or a 10-room mansion on the grassy meadow, meaning to say, yo, fam, either condition exists. So just as much as we could be in this whole hyper masculine, misogynist, killer, be killed, anything for money, hyper capitalism, toxic capitalism, just as much as we could be in that space and it be legitimate. Yo, we also there's this very beautiful big space where there's love, yo, and people chilling, and it's men and women, integrity and distinction. People you actually want to be around, where you feel safe and you good, and ain't nobody gonna give you no problems, and you ain't gotta come in there armed to the what, yo, man, I got so many guns in this house. I ain't never shot one of them.
Of course you do. Who don't? I mean,
but I'm saying, there's a lot, plenty, right? You know what I'm saying? But
ain't no point to screw face business, though. You know what I mean?
But what it is true. What good is that if you get somebody get the drop on you? It's like, if you get the drop on you, you're not armed. You don't have no gun. You understand what I'm saying? Or if you can't draw fast enough. So I function from when I didn't have none of that. How I worked things out, how I had such a peaceful life for the 54 years of me living. And when people come here, man, everybody's just, man, it's just all just, you just see people just, man, it's so beautiful, son. Like, and son, that's hip hop to me. That's the hip hop that I know. That's what I'm out here promoting. That's what I'm trying to get people to engage me in. And that's what I'm doing. So, once again, just real quick, allow me to remind everybody that I have dropped a new single called Third Eye. It is on my website, koolkimumc.com, as y'all see it under my name.
Go buy it right now.
Yeah, and I just a word about that too. So one of the things that we could do as hip hop is to support hip hop, especially the hip hop that we like, is to go put your money where your mouth is. You heard? It's real important. Like, and let me say it in a different way. Support what you love. Yo, man, if somebody
Mhm.
makes some dope music, you got artists that you like, yo, that's my man's. Yo, I remember I was in junior high school and they hit that blue cheese, man. Yo, that one to grow on. You know how many people tell me stories about how I got them through certain years in their life? So, you know, if a cat like that is dropping music and they like, yo, son, you know, I'm selling this joint directly from my drink because obviously I ain't got no record label. It's just me to you. I'm still making this dope music because I love it. I love y'all. I want y'all to enjoy. I love the people that support me. Man, it's people like, yo, when I tell you, say I love my fans, if I don't even call them fans, I don't even like that term. It don't even feel good coming out of my mouth. I love my fam and my supporters, right? Yo, these are people that have been with me since 91. Sonny been with me for 30-something years, man.
Mhm.
34 years, bro. Like, what is we talking about? These people that know, yo, you know me, son. I live my life publicly. You know me personally, son. You know my inner thoughts. I write these in rhymes. You understand? So how do I not feel an affection towards these people? So if you got an artist that got love for you, or you got love for them, and you like their effort, they've been inspiring you, or whatever it has been they've been doing, you supposed to go. Instead of, yo, I had 20 on the back. Let me go get that my man's real quick. Let me, yo, hey, yo, smoke something, nigga. Here, go get you a drink. Whatever, my dude. Go get a cup of coffee, son.
Mhm.
Hold that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yo, here's this, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, I remember I was studying at college, man. I got through college fucking with you. So, yo, hold that, my guy. I got you covered, son. You good. Here, you putting something out? I got you, son. Listen, if it's some trash, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you know, I'm a shed, man. You know, I can do that for you. But we gotta be active, like we've got to engage because, yo, when we do, like when artists that are doing direct to consumer, yo, that's your one real chance to know that I supported that artist and it got to him.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, fam, we need that. Like we need that. Like we need, like the way I on my with this single, it's you set your how much you want to pay. Like I have a minimum payment, and the reason I have a minimum payment is while I still want to create an opportunity for my family to be able to purchase the single within reason, right? And I also want, but I also want to give them the opportunity that if they do want to pour into what we're doing, because they feel like it's worthy, they respect what I'm doing, and they like, yo, now I want to send my man a little something more because I want him to do another video. I want him to keep doing this, and I know this stuff costs money, and he don't got no budget behind him other than whatever he out there going to work to get. So just the same way as like it would be like if anybody else was going to do that, and you had to go to work or whatever you was doing, right? But if you say to yourself, yo, your man's is putting out that music and you want to pour in them like that, but we have a minimum amount because I'm trying to create economics for the people that's working with me. Like we've got to do that work too. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, we need the fan support. And that could be the reason why we don't see a lot of business going towards, or a lot of business solutions being focused or pointed towards our demographic, because our demographic isn't activating as it should yet.
Mm.
Yet.
Mm.
And so, you know, it's gonna be people like myself that come on joints like this and talk for. We supposed to be RSA. I said, well, we got on here. He's like, we gonna have you for 20 minutes. I said, nah, y'all ain't got. I said, nah, just relax. We gonna be on here for a minute. We got the.
Yeah, we were trying to respect your time, so
nah,
yeah.
son. Listen, man, because one, I'm spirit led, right, and so we don't know what the spirit need us to speak to, and we don't know who's listening that needs to hear what's said. So I came on. I played pickleball this morning. I already played my pickleball with my wife. You heard? I'm cooling. I stretched, so I'm in good spirits. You heard? I did good on the court. You know what I'm saying? So I'm feeling good. I got time to kick it with my brothers about something good. We having a good discourse. And again, I think that these are the things that are important, that we need to have this level of discourse, and hip hop needs to be able to hear this level of discourse had about our culture, not just about the capitalist component, the marketing component of music. I'm not gonna spend a whole bunch of time talking about the music. I would rather spend more time talking about life and living and what it means to be in this music and what this music means to me, and let you know that I have music, and then you can, on your own discretion, take your time to go and check it out. If you a hip hop and you gonna be hip and you gonna hop to it, and you do that, and then hopefully my conversation and creates enough of a level of inspiration or respect in the people that may watch this, and say, yo, let me support son. I like what he was talking about. I want to see that
Right.
cat win. Because that's all you can really hope for, fam. Like really in these times.
Word up.
Heck yeah, man. That's fantastic. Dude, I'll be honest, I had to catch up on a lot of things because I didn't know. You know, and I didn't know past the UMCs, right? I didn't really know where you were at with your solo career, what you were doing, but I took some time and I listened. And I went back and listened again. 3 was like, just go back and listen.
I'm a herald for that
It's
era
like you need to listen
and
because
music like yours.
you missed something. And I can, after having our conversation, the music makes more sense.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Hey, you want to really get into something? Watch this. So, y'all are familiar with me as NY Oil? Yes or no?
Yeah.
It's all right if you're not. I mean, it's cool because it was like people weren't supposed to know it was me for some time. Excuse me, but I had rebranded myself as an artist NY Oil. I concealed my identity because I knew that if I had did it as Kool Kim, people wouldn't have received it. So I was like, yo, I got a very radical message that I need to address, and I got to speak it. My spirit was telling me this is what I need to say. I sat with my kids, man, and you know, my wife and my kids, man, they were very young at this time, man. It might have been like, you know, we talking about preteen, you know what I mean? And they was teenagers. They were just like there, you know what I'm saying? My oldest son was, I don't know, I 2011, 2007. So however old they was at that point, but yo, fam, you know, I remember playing that song, Y'all Should All Get Lynched, when I had penned it. And I was like, yo, I'm going to do this thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put this out here. And my wife was like, don't do it. Don't do that. And I was like, nah, this song is heavy, man. This is the one. And my wife was like, yo, you know, don't do it because the very people you're trying to help are going to be the ones that turn against you. You know what I mean? And I was like, even if it's the case, I got to, I'm not one of these like, you know, like, you know, this is the people use certain language that you'd be like, yo, this dude's weird. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that guy, but I could see, you know, I'm like, there's certain stuff in this world that if you just got eyes to see, you realize that it's more to the situation than just, just simply what's seen, you know what I mean? And so to that ends, my oldest son was like, he was against it too. He was like, nah, people going to take it some way. They going to be mad because you're saying that they should all get lynched and black people ain't going to like that. And my daughter, she always ride with anything I'm doing. So she was with whatever. She's like, whatever, you do whatever you want to do, daddy, because this was that, you know. She's down for whatever. But my youngest son, who generally is more like easygoing, so, you know, he went with that, but he turned around and said, well, Dad, you should do it because who's going to stand up for us? You know, and that was like, word, say less. That was all I needed to hear. Because it was odd coming from him. And so that had given me the strength of purpose to do it. And I don't talk about that too much anymore because it was a difficult time. It was a difficult mission that, you know, Allah gave for me to do. And it wasn't without its it wasn't easy. Like, it was hard and it was scary too. You know what I mean? But I was so convinced that that mission was sent to me to do in whatever way that a person could be convinced of that without being crazy, right? Me and my mans, we would go to places, and you know, and I just got finished cussing out the whole crowd, B. You know, you gotta understand, it's a black man. Like, you know, I mean, like, yo, if you ever want to get a good laugh, like if you just look NY Oil live, you know what I'm saying? Yo, if you see the way I carry on stage, and yo, when I tell you, not a soul would move. You heard? I'm not. It's not. Yo, be I'm 5'7", I'm 5'8" on a good day, depending on how gravity treat me. All right. I'm stocky. I'm not. I got 315, no squatter. You heard? But I'm no spotter. You heard? But saying it ain't but so much you gonna do. I don't care how much good you can fight, what kind of boxing and Tai Chi and all that shit you taking. You 2 or 3 niggas jump on you, that's a wrap. Like you're going to lose. You know what I'm saying? So ain't there's weight classes in boxing and fighting with a reason. There's a reason for that. You know what I mean? So you're not beating everybody up, but it was just really one of those things that I had such an anointing on me. You heard? Like that's why I talk different than I'm sure a lot of cats that you talk, man. Like it's a different kind of conversation because my experience in hip hop is very different than everybody else's. It's not right with groupies and money and drugs and stuff. It's not that. It's these very it's jazz, bro. It's like you hear the music in the background playing subtly. It's been nuanced and it's been intricate and it's been a tapestry, of a quilt of all of these amazing experiences that are both extremely tragic and extremely beautiful. I mean, it's life, bro.
Yeah.
Rap rhymes is life, man. Like this is what we rhymes is life, and I'm living it, man. I'm living it, B. And to the day I die, man, I'm gonna be just hip. I'd say my hip hop is just so beautiful to me, B. It's just I just seen so many beautiful things, so many scary things. I walked through situations where I remember I would be as NY Oil, big giant, big, they'd be like, again, I'm 5'7", 5'8", right? There'd be them big giant men to be like lumberjack size dude, like there's a big shit. Like, they do like
Attila.
6'5", you know what I'm saying, 300 pounds. Just be a big giant man. Like God, like when I grow up, I'm older than this motherfucker. He's just a big dude. Like, you're like, hey, these cats would not want to curse around me. Pardon me, brother, pardon me. I'm like, nah, come on, brother. Nah. Like
it's because you're giant in the mind and in the spirit.
And it's the power of the word.
Word.
Look, in the beginning, it was the what? The word. Right? I be talking Christianity, right? So in the beginning, it was the word. And then we get deeper into it. It's like, in the Quran, the Injil tell the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to recite, and Prophet Muhammad was illiterate.
Right.
And he begins and he says Al-Fatiha, and Al-Fatiha rhymes. The whole Quran is a poem. You know what I'm saying? The greatest orators, most of them was poets. Shakespeare, all of that great work that Shakespeare did, poetry. When you talk about nature's religion, quote unquote, which is Wiccan, you know what I'm saying? Witchcraft. What they was talking about, rubble double boil and bubble fire, rubble double toil and trouble, fire burning.
Right.
You heard? Yeah. You understand? So these are the power of words. And so you sitting up there, you rhyming, and somebody say standing by the speaker, suddenly I had this fever, wasn't either, neither, summer madness. But I just can't stand around, and the closer I get, better it sounds. My mind start to activate, dream, and imaginate. When I heard this beat, I just had to make something from the top of my head, and I fell into the groove of the wax, and I said,
how can I move the crowd?
That's a good place for us to stop.
Come on.
There it is.
Kool Kim, thank you, brother, for joining us on Destroy All Podcast. We really appreciate you. We're going to do our best. We are going to support.
Yes.
And we are coming to your bar.
We're coming to the bar.
Yeah.
You got to come. Gentlemen, let me say, come out, tap in, you know what I'm saying? And for those of y'all that have enjoyed the conversation or found some value in it, and you want to just get some verification that your boy is nice, because I ain't going to waste time beating you on the head with that. Check me out on Instagram. You can just scroll down my grid and you will be entertained for the entirety of the night with all the kind of you'll hear how I get down. And come check out the new single. I appreciate you very much. And I want to also remind y'all that UMCs will be returning. And keep it hip hop, y'all. Pursue your passions. It's from the neighborhood fly guy, man. Thanks for having me, yo.
We appreciate you. Destroy All Podcasts. Please like, share, subscribe. You make end clearance. This is our culture.
Destroy all podcasts. We are Destroy All Microbots.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much.
Much appreciated.
Thanks for having me.
Destroy all podcasts. We are Destroy All Microbots.